writing notes. Yalama sonoi. I would like to welcome all of us very sincerely to this gathering once again. This is conference number 17. Chakama mulomti jeni. Geonakrona tukonokino dayasalo. Okaro lo ilukuminiare ikedika nyaudi. I don't know that sample we won that time. We were all there. In 2008, we were in Madera, and it was Carol Arora who was a youth leader. 2009, still under Carol Arora, we went to Bukedia. 2010, Arora, we were in Ngora Parish. 2011, we went to Luala Catholic Parish. That is where I wedded from in 2011 in the youth conference. In case you want to wed, you can register before we close. In 2012, Ijaso Toroma, Ijitunga Bolopoto Wene Petra Nabali Kaliuni Oyos Conference. In 2013, we were in Madera, and that time we had an East African conference called the Uzima. Alaijio Madera, I remember we were in the seminary that time. Charles Esabu wedded as one of the youth leaders. We had Ajaro who took us from Luala to Toroma. And then Esabu came in. 2014, Jasa Chumet Parish. And 2015, we went to Kachumbala. 2016, we came back to Mora. And 2017, down Dairi Bikwaen, Golokita Ino Usuku. I'm bringing this background because just can't wale Mr. Sebe. Don't know where you said, all of them we have moved. And the reason why we are no longer moving is because of population. There is no parish that can accommodate. I'm looking at and I don't think my children can learn anything from them. So Apollo is not a number of as broad as a home, but we also want to thank God that we have a home as a youth center. So from 2018 we have been here up to today. So this is conference number 17. I was a youth leader of this diocese from 2015. I started conferences in Kachumbala in 2015, Ngora, and then eventually Usuku. You can inform them we have a... It's not easy to be a married man. You don't know what has killed him, maybe marriage. But we are here. Ideally, I want to welcome you as young people to the School of Marriage. Father Wazi has a School of Mother Mary. I have also opened a School of Marriage. And after this session, the Major will be here to bless two categories of people. Those who are searching and those who are married. Are we there? So those who are married, we shall pray for you so that God will support you and make you strong in marriage. But we shall also have two lines here. Those who are searching. But we shall have those who are serious here. If you are in senior 2, we don't search in senior 2. I guess the seminarians will write notes because you will be joining with those people. Yeah, today love is becoming serious. The other day, I was talking to my friend. He's a primary teacher. And he was telling me that today, can you imagine, we're handling a very serious case at school. Because 2 girls in P2 were fighting. And when they asked one of the guys, say that, this one here has taken my friend, this one here. A P2 young girl. Can you imagine how love can be serious? So there is a counseling young children on issues of marriage. Padre Wazi has always said that next to environment, the most endangered institution is marriage. The environment suffers a lot from us. You can see this grass before we came here, they were very happy. But you can see how miserable they are. So next to that grass, the suffering institution is what? Is marriage. Many of us must have also seen even our own parents go through this difficult situation. Marriage looks very complicated, but yet very interesting. And as young people, we shall say, yes, however hard it is, we are going there. You should tell your neighbor that me, I'm getting married. Me, I'm getting married, and I will marry in church. Tell them. For us, you are married. But I want to let you know that as we talk about this sweet thing called marriage, it is a very difficult institution if we don't understand. I like sharing this story of this young man who went for the men's conference, and the theme of the conference was building love with your partner. Building love with your partner. The team of the translators are doing their work. They will come and give us a summary. I come on this. The facilitator of this conference had asked the men to type a message on their phones and share with their wives. And the message that asked them to type was just 3 words: I love you. So each man pick a phone, type there, I love you. Then you say send to your wife. After sending, they were supposed to exchange their phones so that each person's message, a feedback, was supposed to be read loudly to the group of other men. Now, listen to these responses, and we shall learn something from these responses as we are journeying towards this institution of marriage. The first woman sent a response, and her response was, who is this? What do you learn from there? Meaning that message had never gone to her ears from her husband. He cannot be, actually, I imagine even if she doesn't know the number of the husband. Who is this? The second woman said, you must tell me where you were sending this message. This must be a mistake. The third woman said, I know you want to borrow money again. There are some men who are very sweet when they want to gain. After that, they are in another world. The first woman said, is this the name of a new song? Is this the name of a new song? You can see how the word I love you is strange to some people. And yet for us, if they told you I love you, you jump. Look at these women. The other one saying, you should begin seeing your psychiatric doctor. This is not a good sign. Psychiatric doctors are the ones who deal with the head, the brain. So the woman thought that maybe the sixth woman is saying, who gave you airtime? Because there are many men who don't have airtime all the time. Even when their wife asks you that, do you have some airtime? I want to call mommy. Mommy there. So this time he's sending a message. And the last woman and many others, I just want to sample a few, saying, I know you want your mother to come here again. You know, there are some women who are very negative about their mothers and fathers-in-law. So this shows us how marriage and family looks very hard for some people who don't understand. And that's why we need a school where we can learn more before we get into this thing called marriage. I want to thank you so much because I will be enrolling you today to these classes of marriage. For you who have come to study, I would recommend that if you got a wife here, marry very fast because she has got the knowledge. There is no school where you train to be a good wife. But here I will give you a few tips that we need to know about the school of marriage. So once again, I want to welcome you to this school and you attend this class and learn more what this thing called marriage looks like. The school of marriage defines marriage as an enduring relationship between two loving forgivers. I've underlined some words here. Enduring relationship. The other one is loving forgivers. It's a relationship so nice, but it can only be enjoyed when it is enduring. In the school of marriage, we also discover that, by the way, it's the only school where you will be given a certificate before you start the classes. You have seen after the wedding, they give those people a certificate, even when they met yesterday and came to church. It's a different school. It's a school where you'll never graduate. In other schools, you graduate and leave and go. I have finished. I'm sure there should be senior 6 leavers here. You'll never go to your school again. You have graduated from that level. So you move to another level. In the school of marriage, no graduation. You will stay there and keep progressing, but you'll never go to another class. No one is allowed to drop out. Of course, under our topic, we're also saying marriage and the church. And when you get married, you have no dropping out. You will have to attend to everyday classes here. But I want us to know something that we need to learn about where we are going to, where it is called marriage. This school called marriage is God founded. Are we there? This school is God founded. It is God who founded what? Marriage. Loka subane lope ageune kal kisirere. So as you are planning to marry, that is the number one thing that you must know. God is the founder of marriage. It is built on the foundation of love. Sometimes you find the schools church founded. Marriage is built on the foundation of love. So if you don't love, then you are never able to accept the other and accepting yourself. The windows are made out of understanding. If you fail to understand the nature of your spouse, then you have issues in this journey of marriage. There must be a level of understanding. Sometimes someone will be sick. Sometimes someone would have no money. So understanding plays a very big role when it comes to this institution called marriage. The good thing is that there are a lot of blessings when you get married. You are actually recognized, you are respected, you are honored when you have a partner and when you are married. When you are not married, everybody plays with you. The roof of this institution is decorated with faith. I am just trying to count for you a few things that you need to take note. And the list is faith. When you get married, you get blessings. You must have understanding of each other. You must have an acceptance. You must have trust. And you must have love. That list should be able to guide us. In every school there is a curriculum that must guide teaching and learning. Of course, you must be reminded that you are all students in the school of marriage. When you get married, my dear friend, you and your spouse become students. There is nobody who is above the other. The church teaches us that the two must be equal in dignity. So for us, we are learning here that when we get into marriage, the two of you become students in the school of marriage. And you know what students are. You are all in uniform, you must all tuck in. There is nothing like, for me, I am different. I hope you're writing. So we must know that we are all students in the school of marriage. God is the principal of the school of marriage. In our understanding, of course, you'll say head teacher. I think the principal is a higher one. The master. So the master of this school is God. And so in the times of storms, don't be unwise and run away from the school. Please first talk the principal before you leave. First talk the principal before you leave. One woman wanted to run away from her marriage. But as she was making a lot of noise, she was lucky that the Spirit visited her and she calmed down. Even after packing all her things, the Spirit calmed her down and she ended up getting some sleep on top of her luggage. In the process of the sleep, she heard a voice. What about your children? What about your children? 3 times. So when she woke up quickly, she dismantled the bags and put back the clothes. So she was lucky that the principal of the school spoke to her and she refused to leave the school. So this school is the only safest place to be. It is only marriage where is safe. My people behind here, don't ask me questions, because they are in a journey for priesthood. I am talking to those who are not decided. You can come and join us up here and go to be a priest. It is a more safer place. Outside that, the most safe place where you can find all the joy is in the school of marriage, in the institution of marriage. And so I want to talk to people who are admiring to be single mothers. Are you here? I have met some, they're in senior 3, some are in senior 1 even. And they have told me, sir, me I will be a single mother. Let me tell you, the way it is very nice to be a single mother when you are just giving birth. When that child is 2 years, 3 years, the way you enjoy, you want to buy her whatever you want to buy, you are managing. You wait for that boy to be a man, and then he begins to speak like your husband. That is a man also in the house to speak to that man, but you are alone. So before you leave this place, you must delete the word single mother. Are we there? Delete the word single. It does not work. I know many of us have grown under single mothers and we think they are able. I think they are managing. You think as if it is nice. Your mother has never shared what she goes through. Has she told you that what she goes through when she feels like she wants a man? Has she shared with you? You will not understand now, for you are just growing. You think because she's buying food, she's paying school fees, she can come and visit you at school. You don't know what that woman goes through. And I don't want you to know, because it will not help you. So the only one thing that you must know is the safest place for you. If you don't become a reverend sister or a priest, please marry. And when time comes for you to marry, please get married. I have known of many people in town. You know, town here is funny. In a village, when you get someone's daughter and take to your house, in the morning they are coming for you. And they will count for you all things, trespassing and so on. But in town here, for us, you can stay with someone's daughter and even produce children. Nobody knocks at your door. Yes. That is what happens here in town. And so, many of us, after living in the village, we shall tell those parents, I'm going to do some work in town. You will enter into this I'm talking about. And in this town, we have got so many of the women who have children, okay, with different fathers, and the marriage has disappeared from their mind. Just because you have that free life. So the safest place for us who have come here, please marry. In this school, the most important thing is to communicate. The C word of communication. The communication might be verbal or non-verbal. Of course, verbal communication, you must keep talking, keep sharing. After 1 month, sit down with your spouse and talk about your family. Do some evaluation, plan together. That's what the school teaches us. But also a non-verbal communication, which we believe in this school that it keeps the marriage warm. And this is for those who are married. You know, people communicate differently. I had a family issue which was caused by poor communication. You know, when the wife gives birth, they give her also her bed. You must have seen this one. Then Papa will also, maybe Papa will remain on the main bed, and then the mother will go with the baby the other side. That lasts for about 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, the 3 to 4 weeks is not that you will now come back with a baby. But psychology tells that it is time for you to keep returning once in a while to the main bed. Now this man, after 3 weeks, could not tell the woman that it is time to return. And so every night he would go to bed, he would keep and the woman did not understand anything. Sometimes a man changes moods. He refuses to bathe. When they take him water to bathe, he picks also water. He goes also to bathe with this water. You will come back home with the chapati. They serve him food, doesn't eat. He eats his chapati. The man was very annoyed. So the woman came to me. Now, I don't know what has happened to my husband. He has changed. So when we met the man, after listening for very long stories, he said, this woman knows that it is 3 weeks now. I'm trying to show all signs he's not responding. And I'm very annoyed. My dear, when you enter into this institution of marriage, know your spouse. Baby, know your spouse. When you see any change, keep discovering what it, keep trying. Communication is very important. That's a non-verbal one. Of course, the other one is for ladies. You know that when it is evening, you should change your clothes. Man, you go back and go and walk. That even way communicates a lot. When she puts on that one, you have a long sentences to read. And so that communication must not be spoken, but you will have to interpret so that you act accordingly. Some of the things we need to carry them. There are many of us who are smiling a lot when you are still searching. My dear, that smile should proceed. So communicate with your classmates. Remember, we are in a school, and I said that both of you are students. So your spouse is your classmate. And so I say communicate with your classmate. And above all, communicate with the principal. Because sometimes, the classmate sometimes looks stubborn. As you are communicating to him, he's not talking. As you are communicating to her, she's moving in another direction. So when it reaches that level, turn to the principal. Communicate to the what? To the principal. Who brought you together? He knows why there is a problem. That's why there is a disciplinary committee in schools to handle cases that are beyond. When the disciplinary committee sits, when your case becomes different, they forward you to the principal, to the head teacher. So when communication fails to the classmate, please communicate to the head teacher and report the case to the head teacher. If you find out something in your classmate that you do not, please report to the principal, report to the head teacher immediately. I said, remember, your classmate is also just a student. He's also still learning. So when your spouse begins to behave otherwise, just know that she is also learning. She's also a student. Now for you begin again beating your wife. She's still learning. She's at school. You are all students. You appreciate that we are learning. That's why even after years, you'll find that all the people also are still having problems in marriage. Because it is a school, it will never stop. You shall never graduate. So when you see challenges happening in your marriage tomorrow, don't run away. Don't send her away. Because we are at school, we are learning. And the learning will not stop. Do not forget to study the Holy Book. Do not forget to study the Holy Book. The main textbook of this school is the Bible. The main textbook of this school is the Bible. So before you get married, first buy a Bible. Because you are going to school, there must be textbooks in the school, otherwise they will close your school. Start every day with a sacred assembly and also end it in the same way. As you wake up in the morning, after greeting your spouse, the next person to greet is God. A sacred assembly must take place in the morning. You have seen some of people, your neighbors who are married. They come and start greet neighbors. How are you, my neighbor? She does not know how the wife has woken up. So the sacred assembly must take place and it must end the same way. So you must go back home and end the day with another assembly. For us who are, I think in primary it's clear. Every morning you must assemble. They check your nails, they check your whatever. Have you tucked in? Are you smart? And in the evening again they gather you together to tell you that so when you go into a school of marriage, you must know that you must start with an assembly and must end with an assembly. Sometimes you will feel like not attending classes in this school. My friend, all classes are compulsory. Even extra lessons at night must be attended. There is no dodging here in this school. Morning preps I must. So if you have been dodging classes at school, dodging preps don'ts, in this school of marriage, there is no dodging. Holiday program, there is no holiday program. Of course, the holiday program is the other man's story. The man who was waiting for his wife. The man had organized the holiday program at Bunere. When attempted to quit, find courage and strength from the principle and continue. Sometimes you want to leave. Before you carry your bags, please run to a nearby church, run to the chapel, talk to the principal. Some tests and exams may be too tough in this school, but remember the principal knows how much you can bear. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Paul told us that the Lord will never allow you to bear a burden you cannot manage. Are we together? So when you find that your wife, your husband is so difficult, my dear, the Lord is aware that that burden, you have body to carry that burden. The Lord will never give you a burden you cannot what? You cannot bear. It is one of the best schools which has each lesson accompanied by joy, peace, happiness. And so I would like to invite you to enjoy this school. Different subjects are offered, yet love is the major principal subject. Love is the mathematics of marriage. Mathematics you don't miss. You don't dodge that one. Whether you want to go and do HL or D, they will give you some maths. GP will give you mathematics. So the mathematics subject in marriage is love. And so we must go there when we know that love is compulsory and it must be attended by all of us. All theories are done outside the school before joining. When you come, you enter into really practicals. When you enter the school, it is all a practicals. You can be hearing that people fight. That man beats his wife. Those are theories. When you go to school, you now be practically beaten. So you go there. So for me, I want to be happy for you because you have come to learn. And a few things that happen in the school of marriage are those ones. Of course, one thing that I want to share with you is what the church teaches about marriage. According to the church derives the term marriage from an ancient Latin word called maritus. And maritus here translates into husband. The understanding of the church is that you cannot say husband when you don't have a wife. You can't come and say that I'm a husband. Where is your wife? So when they say maritus, it translates into a husband, which automatically brings the wife. I am now going to teach you what the church teaches, so that you don't say that those are people who are talking. We also want to learn from the church. What does the church say about marriage? And I have given the first point. The wife follows marriage from the word maritus, which is which means a husband. Now, according to pastoral guide, marriage is an enduring and exclusive covenant of love between man and woman. I have also underlined some words here. Enduring, covenant, man and woman. Those are the three words underlined. An enduring and exclusive covenant of love between a man and a woman. Enduring in a sense that we must bear all wrongs patiently is one of the corporal works of mercy. Bear all wrongs patiently. And that's why you find that there is a man who is so drunkard, would actually say he's very useless, does not buy food, he fights, he beats this woman. But I'm telling you, this woman will be pregnant next month. This is from the word enduring relationship. Enduring relationship. The second word I have marked here is a covenant. When you make a covenant, you don't break. When I was in Serere, there was a couple. Okay, not a couple, but those who were trying to be in courtship. They made a covenant, and it was a blood one. They cut blood, you also cut yourself. Some of you have done the things, by the way, I know you are here. And Anna also cut herself. You lick my blood, I lick your blood. And you mention some words for these people that mention a covenant. When I go with another woman or another man, may I bleed to die? The woman remained in Serere. The man went and worked in Moroto. As distance kept them apart, the man fell in love. I'm not sure whether it was a Karamojong or somebody else. And they had an affair. In the process of an affair, we all know what is called releasing, apart from a few virgins here. So when the man released, the releasing did not stop. The man continued. I personally witnessed this man brought there. He had to turn into parts. So when he was brought there, before he was brought there, he had tried to reach to his fiancée to ask to be forgiven. The fiancée ignored. So that day they were brought together. There was tears, forgiveness, as we learned yesterday, and they prayed over them. And that's how the bleeding stopped. And that's exactly what they had mentioned in their covenant. And when they were making this covenant, there was no priest or whoever. There were two of them. So some of these covenants, we need to be very careful. Sometimes you tell people, I will not produce with another man. And you think it's a joke. Tomorrow you get scattered, you fail to relate, you get another man, you get married, no children. The other man who is supposed to release the other covenant you made is no more. So the covenant we are talking about here is made in front at the altar to bear wrongs patiently with one another. The other word I've underlined is this marriage we are talking about, this covenant we are talking about. Is between a man and what? It is a man and A woman, maybe you can think it is a church. I have also got a definition from an Oxford Advanced Dictionary. And it says, marriage is a legal relationship between a husband and a wife. My dear, I want us to leave this place when we know that marriage only takes place in two places. It is either in court or in a church. Are we together? You write it there. Marriage only takes place in two places, either in court or in church. Outside that is no marriage. That is just a process. You can even see what they write. They pick a certain two-page book. That's an agreement. It's not a certificate. That is that is just a process of marriage. And you can see many of us have been born in a process. So when you finish that process of and so on, you must now get married. And it must be done either in the church or you go to court, where you will be awarded a certificate. You who have come here must go with the truth. Don't take dowry and you say, I've married. Not yet. You have just started the process. Complete the process. Back to that. The 1983 Code of Canon Law, that is now the law of the church, calls marriage a covenant. Again, the word covenant has come back. And it defines it as a relationship in which a man and a woman establish themselves into a partnership of war life. The other one now coming back here is partnership. And in its very nature, it is ordered to the well-being of spouses and procreation. I will be talking to you about the purpose of marriage, and one of the number one purpose of marriage is for the well-being of spouses. That is Canon 1055. If you get a canon law, you can go there. The first paragraph begins to tell you about marriage. This is what the church knows. It's a covenant which is meant for the well-being of spouses, the happiness of spouses, the joy of spouses. The Concise Dictionary of Theology also mentions marriage as a covenanted communion. The word covenant has come back. And as you can see, you realize that marriage is only completed after a covenant. I do. You have heard of things. I do. Asikano. Hey, ile mwami tuche. Hey, yang asikano. Ebo achamutongo. That is a covenant. And you can see all definitions of marriage are entailed into a covenant. They become husband and wife. A man and a woman now becomes husband and that's why they say that there are so many men, but it's not easy to get a husband. There are also so many women, but it's not easy to see a wife. So we should be more careful. They become husband and wife, mutually sharing that complete selves, promoting each other's fullest welfare, and in love, beget and raise children. We don't just get pregnant anyhow. We get pregnant in love. That's why there are some people that you can tell even by their names that I think this one was born when their parents were in love. You find out names come Joy. She's called Joy, Happiness, Aquinas, those kind of names. Those are names that are given to people who are born when the parents were really in love. I don't want to mention the other names because the owners might be here. Pope Francis, in his encyclical Amoris Laetitia, which is translated as the joy of love. This was a post-synodal exhortation. He says, Pope Francis reiterates this understanding of marriage, and he says it's a community of life and love. I wish you could get only that definition. Maybe that would take you home. It's a community of life and love. That life and what? My dear, the two cannot be separated. You cannot separate life and what? I know in your community there is that girl they want to beat to death. And she said, I will not leave John. He had a song. Huh? You have heard those girls? He had a song. And the boy will say, Atwanikino. Last week I think one was arrested. A man. The girl went to police and refused to leave. I will die in this cell if you don't release my husband. And they're not even married, by the way. They're just in love. That's why someone feels easier to die when there is no love. Because the two cannot what? Cannot be separated. That's why when love leaves your family tomorrow in your marriage, you can't stay together. Because for life to be celebrated in that relationship, love must be there. You have seen those boys and girls in the street. You think they don't have parents. One time we were with Charles and we were talking to them. They told us, we have parents. So you can imagine, but the person talking slept yesterday in the veranda, Mommy Mukora, he has not eaten. But he feels love with the people he's staying with. That's okay with him. He leaves the parents at home. Life and love cannot be separated. You know that this is called hysteria. It is also caused by this statement. Life and love cannot be separated. One time a mother had to cry because she had to observe her daughter going inside with another man to talk, because the doctor advised her that that's the only medicine we can give her. And this the young man the mother did not want to see. At that time the doctor said that for now, if you want your daughter to live, and after talking, they walked out and the girl was happy, said to Tatore, discharged. In marriage, life and love cannot be separated. So if you are not sure of being loved, don't fall in a relationship. You can easily die. Because one can miss. The words that open this document, Amoris Laetitia, is the joy of love experienced by families is also the joy of the church. And that's why we are preparing you. So that when you go to marriage, you remember the mathematics of marriage. It is the love. That love that you share in a family will translate into the joy of the church. So we want to be happy. The church wants to be happy. And so the church draws this happiness, this joy, from the joy of love that you celebrate in marriage. There are three purposes of marriage. I now want us to listen to them. The purpose of marriage. Why did the church institute this marriage? Number one, purpose of marriage is love and mutual well-being of spouses. Love and mutual well-being of spouses. That's the number one purpose. The reason why we go for marriage is love and well-being of a spouse. Every day when you are there, think about these two things. Is the number one purpose. How do I love my spouse? How do I make a well-being of my spouse? Has he eaten before he leaves? By the way, those who are going to be mothers here, or wives, never allow your man to leave home when he has not eaten. You don't know where he is going to eat from. Many women who prepare food in a restaurant are not married. So if you allow your man to be the one eating in restaurants, very soon, very soon, you will not see him back. Men don't joke with the food, by the way. I'm telling you, men don't joke when it comes to food. According to the same document, Amoris Laetitia, Pope Francis emphasizes love as the first purpose of marriage, because love constitutes the core of marriage and family. Every human being longs for personal communion, which is expressed in the ardent desire to love and to be loved. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to 27. The same Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 to 24. And there we are told a man will leave his parents and cling to his wife, and the two shall become he. That's why that girl has everything in their home. They eat very well. You don't even see those beans at home. They're just doing very well. But I'm telling you, because of love, she has to leave that home. She has to leave and go and cling. The word used in the Bible, I like it. Cling. Purpose number 2. Procreation and upbringing of children. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. The second purpose why marriage exists is for procreation and upbringing of children. Our. That's why it is one of the impediment. When you get married and your wife refuses to produce children, she refuses to have an affair with you because she does not want to produce children. Go to church, but it's an impediment. That marriage will be stopped. Because the second purpose of marriage is procreation and upbringing of children. And so in a divine plan for humanity, begetting and upbringing of children was and is meant to be one of the goods of marriage. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. By the time God was mentioning these words, in front of him were Adam and Eve. God was telling them, my dear, it is only when you appear here in a church and you get married, that is when you have been given these words. You can now go and multiply. In the liturgy, they must mention these words. Are you ready to take care of the children that God will give you? And then you say, a second over. I will take, yes. Because it is the purpose of marriage. That's why it appears in the rite of wedding. If you have produced right now, before marriage, that's okay. Thank you for bringing out life. But stop there. Because you have just heard that they must tell you that go and what? Somebody must tell you, go and multiply. I don't know those who have produced. Did anybody tell that go and multiply? You went alone, you said job. Papa Lino in job. So somebody must tell you to go and produce. Don't go alone. And you must be told when you are two people. that you now go and multiply. That is after marriage. Pope Paul VI, in his encyclical Humanea Vitae of human life, says God wanted to realize through mankind his loving design. You know, God designed us, and he wanted to realize that loving design through us. And he enabled the fulfillment of this design through the mutual gift of husband and wife, which is specific and exclusive to those alone who are married couples. Ipape bala. Pope Paul VI communicates to us very clearly that for God to fulfill this design of producing a child, for him to continue seeing his design of a human being, it must only be exclusive to married couples. You cannot produce a child when you are not married. Another point to take home. As you leave this gate of this youth center, go knowing that I am only supposed to produce when I get married. Iti papa na lo kuichuko ngakirong ni papa pa ulolo ikanyeta pe. Abu ichuko ngakirong ure jok. Produce when you have a husband or you have a wife, not even a fiancé, not a boyfriend. A boyfriend-girlfriend should be a courtship process, so that you remain wondering how your child will look like, and that must be the force bringing you now to marry. Now, when you already see your child before you get married, is there any reason of getting married again? That's why when you produce with a man before marriage, there are very few chances of you getting married. Because and you know, a child comes with the challenges. And you begin calling a man as a boy, so all the man gets disturbed about you and he leaves you there. Number 3, marriage is for the good of the society. The third purpose of marriage, the last one among the 3, for the good of the society. And when we talk about society here, we are referring to the immediate society is your family. So you cannot go to a man's home and then you quickly begin saying, I don't like your mother, I don't like your father. Why have you gone for marriage? The purpose of marriage is for the good of the society, and the immediate society is that family where you have gone. Even the man the same way. You cannot tell me don't like my parents and I'm your wife. The immediate society that must benefit from our marriage is our 2 families. The church teaches the third purpose of marriage is for the good of the society. Without marriage and family, there is no society. And without society, there is no marriage and family. The society must benefit from your marriage. I want us all to emulate holy matrimony, because it comes with positive effects. When you marry in a church, number 1, you receive what they call marriage bond. These are the effects of the sacrament of marriage. You receive a marriage bond. You are bonded together. And that bond keeps you moving. 2, you receive the grace. You have seen some people say that we live by the grace of God, otherwise we would have died. So the grace is more important. And the only way you can get the grace in your marriage is by the sacrament of holy matrimony. You get the grace. Asianu, the nema. The actual definition of the sacrament of marriage, it gives us the grace to endure in our marriage, but also for upbringing of the children. The other effect is conjugal love. It builds that love that we all need as people who are interested in wanting to live together as married people. I will wind up with the two things which are very important. I have two categories here that I am aware of. There is a team that is married. Young people who are married, are you here? Those who are already there. Remember I said at an appropriate time, we shall have the blessing of those who are married so that they have the strength, the grace to continue living together. And if they have not wedded, maybe before the year ends or as the year starts, they will be able to get this grace. For people who are married and you are here, I want to give you a few 2-3 points. One, you must know that God cannot give you a complete person you desire. God cannot give you a complete person that you desire. You need to work hard. You need to work hard to make the person that you desire come out. I wanted my wife to call me daddy before I married her. But I'm telling you, to convince that woman to call me daddy was not easy. I worked hard. Today I'm enjoying. I don't know whether she knows my name, but she keeps calling me daddy. And I enjoy it. So if you want something from your wife or your husband, my dear, work hard. How? The first day I met my wife, I proposed to her by Worongi daddy. It was not possible. It was going to end our meeting even. So I decided to do something. I bought a piglet. Then I took to her. I told her that you call this piglet daddy. Don't you do going on it? A copper dong and I will run it again. A piglet was a dirty animal, of course, and it did not help her to start practicing. She had to accept the mama che agari konango. Someone was saying how. For me, that's how I did it. There are so many things that you might desire from your spouse, my dear. Work hard. God will give you a person that you are to mold to what you want. Number 2, every marriage has a price for you to pay. Marriage is like a bank account. You have to take the money there, so that when you want, you go and withdraw. Man, you don't open an account and leave it there. You must deposit, so that when you are broke, you want to some money, you go and withdraw. St. Paul told us that men, husbands, love your wives, and wives do what? Be submissive to your husbands. Those are deposits. As a wife, being submissive to your husband is like depositing money to your account. The time you want to withdraw love from that man, you must have deposited submissiveness. Then you withdraw what? The love you need. To withdraw the submissiveness from that woman, then you first have to deposit there what? Love as a man. Then you go and withdraw. If you don't deposit love, peace, care into your marriage, don't dream about a happy marriage. You must also know that marriage is in stages. I am speaking the last point to those who are married. Marriage is in stages. There is a stage where you really see all sweetness. All sweetness. You wake up in the morning, whatever you need, food is ready, shoes are clean, everything. You are just okay. You can be hugged before you leave home in case you are working. But time is coming. Time is coming when the things will disappear. When they disappear, like I said, you are at school. Make sure you communicate with the principal. Don't leave. So when things get bad, it is just a stage. Even us right now. Right now you can find men want to put their capes when they're facing behind and the side. You can even put on a vest and go to the trading center. It's okay. That's your stage. But the stage is coming when you cannot do the things. You cannot do the things, automatically they will disappear. My dear friends who are married, if you are going in hardships right now, it is just a stage. Just wait, it will go away. And you will turn back to normal again. Father said yesterday there will be another page. So let's wait for another page. Are we there? When things are hard, do not think of anything. It's just a stage. It will pass and we shall be fair again. And lastly, for those who are married, we must also know that the number one need of every woman is affectionate. Woman is like a child. When you carry her, she's okay. She wants those small good things. Affectionate. So if they are lacking it at your home, please begin practicing them. You will see back life. But for the women, if you're married, the number one need of a man is not affectionate. It is sex. If you want to know that love is bitter, you will discover all the devil in him. Yeah, I've always said that so long as your bed keeps shaking, you are sure of peace in your marriage. So carpenters who are here, make us good beds. The last category which I want to talk to is those who are searching. Are we here? Those who are searching. Take these notes very well. Write in the capital letters. Point number one. Success in marriage does not depend on finding the right person. Success in marriage does not depend on finding the right person. Whether you have recorded or you have written, it is like that. Most of us have been lying. You need to find the right person. If you don't find the right person, marriage will not stand. My dear, it's a lie. There is no right or wrong person. But there is a right or wrong way of managing marriage. There is no right or wrong person, but there is a right or a wrong way of managing marriage. I want to tell you that if marriage depended on finding the right person, then there would never be divorces or any separation today in marriage. Because every person who is married today, by the way, before the wedding, they were very sure of the right choice. They were very sure of the right choice. But why are they separating now? The kata sell, dalai songo, But after 1 year, I didn't know it was like that. It is because we fail to understand the love, the mathematics of marriage. So stop focusing on looking for the right person. But I want to ask you to focus on becoming the right person. Are we together? So stop looking for the right person now. First, focus on becoming the right what? The right person. So that if we all focus on being the right person, then our searching will be very easy. Because by the time I get you, you are also a right person. By the time you get me, I am also a right person. Because we have been becoming right what? Right persons. Are we together? So work on you being a right person, so that our searching is not difficult. Maybe even by the time you lie here, it is easier. Some people are just waiting to get married. They're just staying waiting to get married. But for now, you are supposed to focus on building yourself to be that right person, a good husband, a good wife. This is what we call courtship. This is what we call courtship. So my definition of courtship is very different. My definition of courtship is the period of becoming the right person. I don't know what CRA tells you. I don't want to know. That one is just to get marks. When you go back to school, remember the other definition so that the teacher marks you correct. But from the school of marriage, I am saying courtship is a period of becoming the right person, so that you meet the right person. Mother Mary, after the Holy Spirit, chose her for Joseph, who was a widower, by the way, a carpenter and a builder in the temple. A period of 1 year was fixed to allow preparation for the wedding between Mother Mary and Joseph. A period of 1 year. We are aware of people who meet in 1 week. Not even 1 week, a day. I don't know carry bomb, how long did you finish in your courtship? The courtship is just finished, is just completed in the process of dancing. That is a courtship. Mary and Joseph finished 1 year. Now, can we listen? One thing that we appreciate with a period of preparation, there are a lot of things that God will reveal. There are a lot of things that God will reveal. Some of us who have tried this, something wrong will happen. In that period of 1 year, a lot of things happened between Mary and Joseph. That was the year when the Holy Spirit actually came to Mother Mary. And I would die in almost sick. Or I would have not seen Jesus. So God had to look for Joseph, a widower, a man who had practiced marriage, a mature person. And you can see it's where our salvation came from. Because today young men, they even people who admire you when they don't know, when you don't know. People go for sex even before asking for love. Today, but you are just there, you are just continuing. And you begin producing. You have people with children and they don't know the father of the child. You only know a puta. This is dangerous for our situation. And so we need courtship, so as to help us manage what we are doing as young people. I say, finally, when it is time for you to get married, please marry. There are people who take their time. God sends you right people, but you are just there, feeling like you are not interested. God has opened the way for you, and you are just dodging God. There is a story of 2 madmen who were arrested. When these 2 madmen were arrested, they were taken indoors. So one night they planned to escape. When they planned to escape, they had their plan that when we go there, we shall begin with Askari. We shall arrest the Askari, beat him, and open the door. Then we shall escape. When they reached the gate on that fateful day, they found that the gate was opened. And Askari was not there, but the gate was widely opened. So they looked at each other and said, our plan has failed. Let's go back. So they went back to their cells. So don't be a madman. Adola pakinaja bokin, irisila subani tungani jayo, ibongi bojo cell. Get married. Back to the translation. Jalamanoi, I wish you a happy marriage. When Father comes, we shall pray for those who are searching and for those who are in marriage.